Okay, and now we're going to get into Caitlyn Clark, the biggest female basketball player, college or pro, in my opinion, is Caitlyn Clark. I
Yeah,
think Caitlyn Clark at this point is more popular than any professional women's basketball player.
hands down, hands down.
Yeah, for sure. And she's huge out there in the streets. And this is her last year playing college ball. She's allegedly going to the WNBA after she concludes this particular season. But Ice Cube threw a little wrench into it when he offered Caitlyn Clark $5 million to go play in the Big Three, which I thought was kind of crazy. And
Hmm.
to boot, Lil Durk doubled down and offered her $10 million if she agreed to play on his team. I didn't know Lil Durk had a team in the Big Three, but apparently he does.
Oh wow.
So yeah, man, Caitlyn Clark is the hottest thing moving right now, and Ice Cube wants her in the Big Three, and Lil Durk is ready to double Ice Cube's efforts and go from 5 million to 10 million if Caitlyn Clark plays for his team. Now, will it happen? We don't know. I'm of the mindset that she will go to the WNBA, but it's been a bit of a story because everything Caitlyn Clark these days is a story. But this says Lil Durk boosts Ice Cube's Big Three offer to Caitlyn Clark by promising to double money. Lil Durk has upped the ante on Ice Cube's Big Three proposal to Caitlyn Clark, promising to double the NWA legend's already sizable offer. The Chicago MC took to X, formerly Twitter, on Monday, which was April 1st, to declare his desire to lure the Iowa Hawkeye star to the 3-on-3 league. In response to a post about Cube's initial $5 million offer to Clark, Durk wrote, "I got 10 million, come play with my three."
Hmm.
The All My Life hitmaker had earlier shared his thoughts on the player's performance in Iowa's 94-87 win over LSU to reach the Final Four of the NCAA women's basketball tournament. Caitlyn, who recently became the NCAA's all-time leading scorer, put up a typically dazzling display in which she posted 41 points, 12 assists, and 7 rebounds. I mean, she really is like a video game.
Yeah, you can't stop.
Yeah. Oh my God, Clark, Durk simply wrote. Though Durk doesn't currently operate a team in Ice Cube's Big Three league, okay, so that answers that question. His tweets certainly imply interest in becoming a coach. So he doesn't even have a team. So he's just saying, come play in the Big Three and I'll give you 10 mil. I don't know what he got going on. Last month, Ice Cube looked to make sports history by recruiting Caitlyn Clark to the Big Three. The news was initially reported by TMZ, with the outlet revealing that the It Was a Good Day rapper had offered the college star $5 million to play in his 3-on-3 basketball league, becoming the first woman to do so. So that's pretty much the gist of that. What do you make of Cube's initial offer and then Durk doubling down on that, and just the idea behind Caitlyn Clark going to Big Three instead of going to the WNBA, and the bag that they are throwing her way? What are your thoughts on this one?
I think she should do it. I think she should do it. I think this is a smart play by Cube, man. I love it. So, because first of all, the way she's cooking these females, she could play with dudes, in a Big Three format. I think it works. I've heard people be real critical of her, like she ain't gonna be able to get a shot off. All this woo was like, yeah, right, bro. Now, is she gonna get in there and torch these dudes? No, but she gonna hold her own. I think she can hold her own. So, and I think it'd be a great ticket. I think it'd be great if somehow she can parlay this, because this is not an actual. It may not be considered a professional league. It might be considered a semi-pro or something like that. If she can finesse this and double contract, I would do that if I were her. I think this would be a great business venture, because me just looking this thing up right now, the most a WNBA player can earn in a season is $234,000. Let's round that up and say 235. Because they got some figures after that.
Right.
And he's saying $5 million. So even if people say, all right, well, because I know her endorsements is going to go crazy. If she wants them, I'm pretty sure she's getting offers now, but whatever. But the endorsements are going to be crazy. She's going to be everywhere, because And this is me, bro. Not a women's basketball fan like at all. I try to watch it. I try to respect the game, but it'd be a little too cringe for me. But they got some girls out there now that's getting busy, man. Her and Juju,
It's
boy, they going
it's the it's
crazy.
the ones it's the ones who can hoop like that.
Yeah,
You
man.
know that's what it is. Like yeah, it because go ahead. I'll let you finish. Go
No, no.
ahead.
So yeah, so just watching her play, it's like, hey, man, this ain't going nowhere. She's gonna be rocking these people her whole career. So, why not maximize on that bag? So, if there's a way she can play in both, do the big three. I don't know if the seasons overlap or not, but I think that'll be a great thing for her. It'll be good for Ice Cube. I think a lot of people will win. As far as Lil Durk is concerned, uh, this sounds like another IDK tweet. Especially when we found out this man ain't got no team. So you just talking now. It's like whatever, dirt. You know what I'm saying? But I love this idea, man. I think this was just good pub for Big Three. And the way I first heard this, if he swung and he missed with Caitlyn, he might connect with somebody else that might agree to that. And it's like, hey man, all right, you ain't Caitlyn Clark, but you still up there. I'll give you 2.5. And then that's shitting all over your WNBA contracts. And she'll go, hey, I'll do that and play overseas if I. And yeah, because so the WNBA is gonna have to do something. Yeah, they're not pulling in enough money, but I think once these superstars are coming out, the market's gonna change a little bit when it comes to whatever. So they might want to start paying them women more. So what are your thoughts, sir? What are your thoughts on Ice Cube and Lil Durk trying to swing Miss Caitlyn Clark?
First off, I do want to say that I think Caitlin Clark would be able to thrive in the big three because she hoops like that. Juju's the same way. I
Yeah,
don't watch women's college basketball. I don't even watch women's basketball, period. But I've been watching them because they hoop like that.
yeah,
And I remember we did. I'm a big fan of Maya Moore, more so because of what she has done to sacrifice her career to actually really be a social advocate, not a fake one like a lot of the rest of these celebrities. Like Maya Moore is the real deal.
hmm
But I remember when I watched Maya Moore in college, and I think I've said this on this channel before. When Maya Moore was in college playing for UConn, I used to watch her play, and I used to be like, she plays. I used to think she plays like a man, like she has a man game, and that was a compliment. I meant that as a compliment. It wasn't trying to be sexist, even though I'm pretty sure people will turn it into that. But when I watched Maya Moore play, she had a man's game. Fadeaway jumpers, with the full follow through on the release, sidestep jumpers, you know what I'm saying? Like going to the left, going to the right, hitting finger rolls. Like she had a very refined game. And most female basketball players, their games are not refined like that,
hmm
which is why to me, Maya Moore was just better than everybody else. She just had a really refined game. To me, Caitlin Clark and Juju both have refined games, meaning when they go into the WNBA, they are instantly going to dominate because they have a man game. And I'm sorry, but men, in terms of basketball, now, men and women, they play a different style. It's a different game, it's a different sport. So I'm not necessarily trying to compare it. But every once in a while, you will have a woman basketball player whose game is so refined and their touch is so perfect, damn near, that it reminds you of the way high level male basketball players play. And Maya Moore, I saw that when I watched Maya Moore play, and I see that when I watch Caitlin Clark and Juju play. They play like a dude to me. So that's why I think they're different. And I watch their games because they're different. It isn't herky jerky and unrefined like the majority of women's basketball. But I will say this though. Um, this is devastating to the WNBA.
yeah,
If Caitlin Clark agrees to this, it's going to devastate the WNBA
hmm
because I think every superstar woman basketball player after her is going to become more of a realistic consideration to go this route instead of going the WNBA.
hmm
And you pulled up the numbers about the salaries. I did a similar thing. And the number one overall pick in the WNBA earns a base salary of $76,000 a year. Their rookie, the number one overall pick in the WNBA earns a base salary of $76,000.
Oh wow.
There's electricians who make more than that.
Oh
There
man.
are plumbers and construction workers who make a lot more than that.
Bro,
You're
there's some dudes game checks is more than that in NBA.
yes, absolutely. Like there is a roofer that makes more than that. You know what I'm like seriously. And so the thing is, $76,000 base salary versus $5 million to go play in the big three. Money wise, it makes sense. And I think Ice Cube knows that, which is why I agree with you. Smart on his part to become a disruptor
Yeah.
and try to stir the pot and see what can happen.
Yeah.
Because as you intimated, even if Caitlyn Clark doesn't do it, someone after her might.
Yeah.
And they might not be the transcendent star that she is, but damn it, if they're a superstar is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing that I will push back on you with is you said something to the statement of these superstars in college now or whatever, they could come into the WNBA and change things for the better for the WNBA. I don't necessarily know that that's true or not, because think about it. Diana Taurasi was a super duper star when she was in college.
She was.
She went into the WNBA. The WNBA is still funded by the NBA. The WNBA is still, the lights are kept on by the NBA. The WNBA is a subsidiary of the NBA. Look at all of these superstars that have come into the Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi, Breonna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum. These people were super duper stars in college. They were super duper stars in college. They went to the WNBA. Has it made the WNBA any more of a revenue generator? No, it hasn't. So I don't know that Caitlyn Clark, as popular and as transcendent as she is, can overcome that. So my thing is, she might want to continue the legacy, because I think for all intents and purposes, the WNBA is still perceived to be the pinnacle of women basketball. So she'll probably want to continue that tradition and not rock the boat. But I think Ice Cube does serve a place as a disruptor potentially, because if you have some of these girls who decide, I'm not going into the WNBA, I'll just go to the big three or whatever, because it's a bigger payday and I'm still going to get the same amount of exposure. Arguably, Caitlyn Clark going to the big three is going to be better for the big three than the WNBA. It'll draw more eyes to the big three than the WNBA, because the WNBA has, it's been there. It's been there. And you know, I'm a fan of these. Like, you know, Diana Taurasi's a hooper in her prime.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it didn't make the WNBA more of a revenue generator. The WNBA is still what it is. $76,000 for the number one overall pick as a base salary. 200 and whatever you just read, 75,000 to the highest paid player.
235.
35. Right. Come on, man. So I, you know, can Ice Cube serve as a disruptor? Yes. Is Caitlyn Clark going to be the first? Perhaps not. But whoever ends up being the first is going to potentially accelerate the demise of the WNBA, or at least that's how I see it.
Well, yeah, because also on top of this, let's say somebody actually does do this, it's really gonna, because the women are already, you know, griping about what they get paid. Honestly, I ain't know it was 70 something racks, bro. That's wild. I just knew that they max, so I kind of figured they was all getting at least, you know what I'm saying? I know minimum, I figured minimum would be like 90, 80,000, but the number one pick getting 74 out the gate, like that's disgusting. So $5 million, I might pull a, you know what I'm saying? If y'all won't let me dual enroll, I'll get these 5 bands these 5 racks real quick, and then come back the following season or something like that. Like this is definitely gonna, send shockwaves. So it's gonna get to the point to where they're gonna feel obligated to pay one of these girls to come over. To be, the WNBA, like this is going to really wonky things up. And let's be honest, like all those women you name, yeah, and there's women in the WNBA right now that's dropping 20, some points, going crazy, because that Asia Wilson's girl is, she racking it up right now.
Yeah.
So she would be pissed if these new wave of girls start to earn more salaries because there's competitive forces out there. And because I'm telling you right now, she's gonna migrate a lot of people wherever she goes. Like Caitlyn, people are gonna be following this because I'm with you with Diana Taurasi, but at the same time, she wasn't in everybody's house.
Right.
Like you had to watch sports still to be knowing who Diana Taurasi was. Like we're saying this right now, some people you gotta Google her.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? So Caitlyn Clark, everybody know about this girl. And so she gonna have people following her wherever she goes. So the WNBA, they know that this is gonna be something, but you can't offer her 74. So because I figured, I was like, even if she turns down Q, she's still gonna make millions in endorsements. But it's still a principle of the matter of 74. So she can be a driving force. I know they're gonna put a lot of pressure on her, the other girls, to drive up the max. Like there's gonna be a lot of shenanigans for this, and I'm here for it. Like you said, the disruptor. I like that word. Q is being a disruptor, a troll, if you will, upsetting the apple cart. Because right now, because I'm calling cap on some of it, and I know the WNBA ain't making money, but come on, bro. I feel like those salary things. I don't know what the numbers should look like or whatever, but that's crazy looking.
Bro, you gotta watch, bro. Okay, so my mom follows the W. And to answer your earlier question, they both do conflict because both of them, their seasons are during the summer. So they both do conflict. So she couldn't do both at the same time. But my mom watches the WNBA. So, kind of, second-handedly, whenever it's on, because my mom's watching, I'll be over and I'm looking at the TV and I'm paying attention to the games, bro. I'm trying to tell you, it makes sense that league is not a revenue generator because beyond the lower, I'm trying to tell you, bro, beyond the lower section of those arenas, it don't be people there.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not like the league doesn't. It's not a revenue generator. They're not in the black.
Yeah,
the NBA pays the NBA pays the bills of the WNBA. The NBA, look, like WNBA players' game checks are signed by the NBA. Now I don't know if they're signed by Adam Silver. I don't know whose signature is on it, but their game checks are funded by the NBA. Until that changes, you can say whatever you want about Caitlyn Clark's following. They need to, like essentially what you're saying is the WNBA would have to bank on the gamble that Caitlyn Clark is going to infuse so much life into the WNBA that it will offset whatever cost that they are going to incur by resetting the market with her. Because I agree with you, they're going to have to do something.
They're going to have to do something.
Yeah, I agree. Like, and even if it isn't her, the ones after her who are superstars like that, they're going to. It's going to become more of a normal thing to consider alternatives.
Right
now, the overseas isn't enough of a perspective idea to me to be a disruptor. But the big three and stuff like that, these private leagues where you can just, you know what I'm saying, that can be a legitimate disruptor.
Yeah.
So they're going to need to figure something out. But until the WNBA figures out how to get people to care about the WNBA, and I don't know how you do that. You can't legislate people caring. So I don't know how you can figure out how to make more people care about the WNBA. But until they do that, the money is not going to come from enough places to make that league enough of a revenue generator to fend off stuff like the big three into perpetuity.
Yeah.
That's why it poses a legitimate threat. It really does, as far as I can tell, because they ain't making money like that, bro. Like you look at this. And I found this article off of desert.com, right? Mm-hmm. If Clark accepts the big three's offer and only plays in 8 games, she'd be paid $625,000 per game compared to the $1,900 per game she'd make if she played in all 40 of her WNBA games.
$1,900.
How do you You know, like how do you compare that?
That's paycheck
So
to paycheck.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So it's like you're gonna have to figure something out. You're going to have to figure something out at some point. I don't know how you can make more people care about the WNBA because that's the missing
Wow.
ingredient. How do you make people care? Because that's where you need to get the support of the fans to draw the ratings, to get advertisers and corporate sponsors to pay and all, and that's where the money comes from. And then you get TV contracts and media rights. So that's how something becomes a revenue generator. The WNBA doesn't have all that because the NBA is paying all the bills. So you got to figure out how to get people to give a damn. And people don't give a damn. Women watch the NBA way more than WNBA, and they're women. They should be watching the WNBA because they're women. They don't care. They watch more. Look at the numbers. I'm not making this up. Women watch more NFL and NBA, college football, way more than WNBA. And I've not looked this up personally, but I'm willing to guess more women pay attention to women's college basketball than the WNBA.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it is.
So like how are you going to figure out the perfect elixir to make this thing a revenue generator and stop this thing from becoming actually more of a realistic threat? You know, that's the main question.
Well, and I think I got an answer. So check me out. So you hit on the point that I was going to get at, that college basketball, women's college basketball, has higher ratings than WNBA games and some NBA games. How about that? So the NBA can't even fix its own problem right now because they're in a dark age of ratings. Now you can blame that people got more options, more things to do, more channels, but the NFL is constantly breaking their own records. Now the NFL is doing something right. What is the NBA doing? They're not calling foul, or they're calling too many fouls. They're reviewing crazy stuff, technicals for anything, superstar treatment for anybody. There's only two people being talked about, only two teams being talked about. They don't spread the wealth. They don't do. There's a lot of elements that the NBA itself is failing. So of course its child is going to fail, which is the WNBA. Adam Silver's horrendous. There's a way to flip the WNBA, and they don't do it right. It's like they're not trying to make money off of it. If you got all these millions of dollars subsidizing it, there's a way that you can like project out in the future. If you invest this many millions by this, year or whatever, you're going to return on that many millions if you pump it in. Hey man, we know Sexy Red songs because they forced it to us. Hey, we know J. Carlo songs because they forced it on us. The NBA got forced it on you money. The only thing that they force on me is that they're as strong as men and all this other stuff, and they want to get paid as more, but they don't put the game on there. And that's another thing I would say. These girls must really love the game. These college girls, the WNBA women too. You must really love the game. You ain't getting paid nothing. Like you said, that no knock on a plumber. That's responsible. That's good work. But you're not making more than a plumber.
Facts.
So it's like, hey man, y'all must really love the game. So there's women out there that are really playing the game because they love it. Let's tap into that. And because what the college scene is doing, both male and female, by the way, because they're both crushing NBA ratings because of the buy-in that the local fan base has because of, ties, alumni and stuff like that. Well, how are you going to get that for professional things? Well, the professional people need to invest in their areas. The NBA needs to invest because if then they already do stuff where, they'll come through, do stuff for the kids or whatever, but they need to invest in the area. So people got a stock in the team. So they wear their jerseys with pride, and they're not just hopping around following their favorite players around, not going to the arenas. Like there's a lot of things that they can do that can help galvanize fandom, but they don't do that. They just advertise to us more and more about the game coming up, or more LeBron stuff, more Steph Curry stuff.
Yeah, so
So
it's a player. It's very player driven.
it's very player driven. And
Yeah.
we talk about it all the time whenever we're bringing up NBA stuff. It looks like there's young guys right now that's worth investing in. Like Anthony Edwards is worth investing in. Go ahead and start. Let's go ahead and start the marketing campaign for this guy. Halliburton, same thing. Let's start the campaign. But they're not doing that. So they're doing this one cash cow thing, and it's old, it's dried, it's played out. And on top of that, fans are, we're tired of the shenanigans, with, you know, fouls and other goofy stuff going on. They got their own problems.
Players sitting out games. I
Players sitting
mean,
out games.
it's a ton of issues, and gambling too is another problem.
So the NBA is not even in a place right now to be in this position. So they need to get their act together, because this girl right here, I think everybody wants her to win, because she's not even a jackass. Yeah, she talk trash and stuff like that, but you can just tell she's highly competitive.
Yeah, that's competitive. I don't care nothing about talking trash.
Yeah, she's just highly competitive, because you know what I'm saying. When I first started hearing about it, people try to paint her out to be like she's some type of whatever person. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, these are all reasonable shit talking situations. So yeah, I'm here for it. I want to see this girl win. I want to see her get paid. So if she joined Big Three, I'll be supporting that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get my views. I'll definitely help Cube out on that. But yeah, man, I think this is great. Great role. Ice Cube playing the Joker. Wanting to see the NBA burn on this one. So good call on that one, Mr. Cube.
Yeah, I think all disruptors, I tend to appreciate them, even if I don't like some of their opinions. Like Elon Musk to me is a disruptor, and I appreciate that, because he's like, I don't care about what y'all market share is, or y'all think y'all got the industry on lock. No, I'm gonna come in here with my products, and we gonna see at the end of the day who wins out. And the old guard, they don't like disruptors, but disruptors are called that for a reason, because eventually they supplant you in dominance. I just, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like, everything you're saying is sensible, but at the end of the day, you can't legislate desire. And I don't know how you make people intrinsically want to care more about the WNBA. Like, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you strike that balance. And that's the WNBA's greatest challenge, because for all the problems that the NBA has, they don't have to worry about trying to convince people to care. They have to worry about that. Like, they just know, that if LeBron's in the game, if Curry's in the game, if Embiid's not hurt, they know this. If Kevin Durant's not hurt, Edwards, they know that if these guys are in the games, they're gonna get the buy-in. Their issue is making sure that these guys actually get into the games and nobody's getting hurt and all of this other weirdo stuff. But as long as the guys are in the game, they're not necessarily concerned with making people care. But that's the WNBA seems to have that challenge, and I'm with you. If Caitlyn Clark, I'll tell you this much. I watch more Big Three games than WNBA games personally. That's just me. Because in the summertime, it's just kind of fun to watch old, washed up, retired basketball players play half-court basketball. It's fun. So I watch that more than WNBA. If she goes to Big Three, I'll probably watch every game. Yeah. Every game. If she goes to the WNBA, I may watch her if her team gets to the postseason. Maybe.
I'm just watching highlights.
Right. And for me, that's a big maybe. Now, granted, I'm not a hardcore fan, but then again, that's my question. That's my general point. Who is? It's not enough percentage of the population that constitutes what you would call hardcore fans to make it worthwhile in the long run to continue to invest in the game, at least for now. So that's the WNBA's greatest problem. But shouts out to Cube. I'm with you. I would be big W for Cube if he was able to get her to agree to that. But I do think that even if she doesn't, somebody after her who may not be as transcendent but is approximating her popularity, one of them ladies gonna say yes.
Oh, hell, one of them gonna say yes. And Caitlyn Clark cooked the shit out of that girl. That Haley girl,
Asia Wilson. Yeah.
No, not like the Haley Van, whatever, for LSU.
Yeah.
She just roasted that girl. I'm sitting there. I don't even know why the coach didn't switch her off. This girl lost. She can't stop her. So and they kept her on her all game. So hey, she deserved that 40 piece and a biscuit. So she wiped the floor with that girl. So hey man, Caitlyn Clark, get your bag, girl. We trying to see you win out here.
Yeah, shouts out to Caitlyn Clark, man. Good luck out there.
Mm-hmm.